Hey, when I say to you the name John McEnroe, I know depending on where you're at in your age and what generation you come from, you might not know who that guy is. But if you know the name John McEnroe, what comes to your mind? You know, I've asked this question across rooms all over the country. And you know what I hear when I ask people, hey, tell me about what you know about John McEnroe. You know what I hear? He had a temper. He was a loose cannon. John McEnroe was kind of a renegade. John McEnroe had a filthy mouth. I hear all this stuff, which is all true. You know what I never hear people say? He was a great tennis player, that guy. Hall of Fame guy. I never hear those things because, my gosh, did he create a brand. Imagine this. Imagine you're on center court at Wimbledon. The crowd's going nuts, and across the net is John McEnroe, a player known for his fiery temper, his explosiveness, his relentless energy. Man, when you were playing John McEnroe, most opponents would get rattled. They would lose focus in their mind. But there was one specifically that rose above all of this, and his name was Björn Borg. And Bjorn once said, when he was asked about John McEnroe, he said, I don't play John McEnroe ever. I play the ball. He said, you see, I have learned about the game of tennis that the only thing that changes the outcome of the game is how this little ball travels back and forth across the net. That, my friends, is composure under pressure. And it's one of the most underrated qualities in any leadership that you can talk about today.
This is the Champion Forum podcast with Jeff Hancher, the forum for leaders, champions, and dreamers.
Take control of your career at Compassionate Care Unlimited in Canonsburg.
Compassionate Care Unlimited is hiring RNs and LPNs. Choose your own schedule for a perfect work-life balance.
Plus, enjoy competitive pay and 24/7 personal support from their woman, nurse, and veteran-owned business.
Enhance your skills with their CPR training classes for individuals and businesses. Learn more at CompassionateCarePA.us.
Be uplifted, be supported, be part of the Compassionate Care Unlimited team and apply today.
Compassionate Care Unlimited is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everyone. Jeff Hancher here, and today we are talking about leadership composure. This is this ability that we can grab a hold of to keep our head where it needs to be when the stakes are high, when emotions are charged, and when people are watching how you're going to respond. Because, hey, leader, let me tell you this, the eyes are all on us. They are on us. People, I mean, look, I hate to report this, but you're going to have some people that push the buttons they know they need to push to get that rise out of you. It's going to happen. Probably not on your team, but I've seen this happen. You know, this Bjorn, man, what a story with this guy, huh? This rivalry that he and John McEnroe had, man, it was one of the greatest in sports. McEnroe, he brought that fire. Bjorn, he brought ice. I mean, John would be over here losing his ever-loving mind, and, you know, Bjorn would just be over here, locked in, focused. And what separated them, it wasn't just talent. It was what was happening in the mind. You know, Bjorn, he trained himself to stay locked in, laser focused on what? The ball. The ball. Not John breaking a racket over his knee, throwing a water bottle, getting distracted by all the chaos around him. No, he was locked in on the ball. As leaders, we face our own version of McEnroe moments, don't we? Oh, yes, we do. I mean, people lose their minds sometimes. People get emotional sometimes. Employees test our patience sometimes. Business pressures that threaten to knock us off our feet sometimes happens. Critics who push our buttons. I mean, look, if you don't have critics, you haven't been doing it long or you're not doing it right. You're going to have some critics. And just like Bjorn, we have a choice. When all this chaos hits, and it's going to, and it does, do we lose our cool and play the man? Or do we keep our composure and do we play the ball? We got to play the ball. Because here's the truth. Composure builds trust. It builds trust. People are watching. They want to see how you're going to respond. People follow leaders who don't flinch, who don't back away when the pressure's strong. Now, I've never heard one person say, man, I'll tell you what, I love them because they are fragile and fold like a pop tent whenever things get hard. No, it's leaders that get this unbelievable resolve under the highest pressure situations. They look for steadiness when everything else feels shaky. We are the steady hand as leaders when things are shaky. And composure keeps us focused on solutions, not distractions, because that's what we are. We are solution makers. We are the calm to the choppy water. That's what we have to be. And I'm not here to tell you it's easy. It is not easy. But leading, especially in tough times, is something that legends are made of. There was a time in my leadership that I would become very emotional and rattled. I'm talking, I would never like break down in tears, crying kind of emotion, you know, in front of that subordinate that was like pushing my buttons. But I will tell you this, I could feel the tightness in my chest. I could feel my throat, tightening up, and I could feel, my mouth like, I need a drink. I'm thirsty. And it would affect me so physically that even how I spoke, it was like, am I about to squeak when I talk? Have you ever been there? Maybe I'm being a little too vulnerable here. But I'll tell you this, I used to struggle with this, and I'm not telling you that there aren't days that I'm not challenged with it now. But I had to learn how to control my emotions. I had to learn how to stay calm under pressure. Quite frankly, this still happens from time to time because people still push my buttons. Things still get hard. The business still gets challenged. If this is you, I want to encourage you. I want to speak some life into you right now. Understand that there are things that can be done so that you can begin to right now become a leader of composure. So before you throw in the leadership towel, before you tap out of the fight, start executing on some of these things. I'm going to give you 5 actions that you can start doing today to strengthen your leadership composure. And at the top of the list is don't react too fast. Take a pause before you react. When you start feeling this emotion, take a breath. Count to 3. Count to 10. Whatever you got to do. Excuse yourself from the environment if you need to before you go down this response mode. A pause prevents this harsh and irrational reaction that sometimes happens from leaders that are under a lot of emotion and are losing their composure. The next thing that you have to do is focus on the issue, not the emotion. Isn't that what Bjorn did? Just like him, we focus on the ball. That's what he did. So what's our ball? Well, it's us staying centered to the real problem, not the personality or the drama that can sometimes swirl all around it. Because look, sometimes there's some drama that comes with a personality. But we're not focusing on the personality. We're not focusing on the drama. What we're locked in on is the problem. The tennis ball is the problem. Just like Bjorn focused on the ball, we're focusing on the problem. And number 3, you got to control yourself. And you got to control the environment. This is where we got to look around. We got to keep a tone of calm. Your body language, very open. Now listen, when you're under pressure, these things don't come natural. You have to be intentional doing these things. Because inside, you literally might feel like you're dying because you just want to lash out. But everything about you is screaming calm. Your voice is calm. Your body language, it's open. It's not clenched fists. It's open. And your volume, it's steady. Here's what happens whenever you keep calm under pressure. People will start to mirror your energy. It's true. If you've been in sales, you know this. They will start to mirror your energy. Look, some people even get frustrated by it because they're trying to push your buttons. Number 4 is you got to reframe pressure. Reframe the pressure. Instead of seeing pressure as a threat, view it as an opportunity to show strength and and earn respect. I will tell you this firsthand. It's true. The people that are trying to push your buttons, they're typically the aggressors. Now, look, I'm not advocating punching and violence here. It's a saying. But I remember, whether it was an uncle, my own father, telling me the lesson about the best way to handle a bully is to punch him in the nose, right? Now, I'm not saying if somebody comes up to you and pushes your buttons that you punch them in the office. That's not what I'm saying. But understand the concept here. What my dad and my uncles might have been saying is, look, when you punch a bully in the nose, he's going to think twice the next time. Because he might not even like you, but he's going to respect the fact that you're going to punch back. Now, this composure that we can have, man, this is an opportunity to get some street cred and to get some respect on the team. I'm not going to fly off the handle. I'm not taking the bait. I know what you're trying to do here. Instead of seeing this pressure as they're trying to threaten you, just reframe the whole thing and say, you know what a golden opportunity to show my strength, to show my resolve, and earn the respect of this team. And then number 5, practice under fire. Put yourself in situations where you're tested. Look, you're probably not even going to have to look hard for these. But I'll tell you this, there's ways that you can start creating pressure that will challenge you and help you fight for composure. Public speaking is one of them. You know, I remember, my wife was being challenged with this, trying to stay composed when she was in front of large groups of people. Here was the challenge. It wasn't that she wasn't a good public speaker. She didn't have a lot of experience doing it. So we signed her up for a local chapter of Toastmasters. I think she spent a better part of the year in the local chapter here. And what was she getting? She was getting opportunity to challenge herself, to put herself in high-pressure situations so that she could be tested. Find ways to test yourself. It could be public speaking. It could be putting yourself in tough negotiations, finding high-stakes meetings to be a part of. Joining a mastermind could be that, right? Hey, look, I have part of our executive mastermind members tell me all the time, wow, I walk into those meetings from my car and I can kind of feel my heart beating a little bit. Why? Not because I'm afraid, because, I mean, there's a lot of high energy and a lot of successful people in the room. Put yourself, practice under fire. What we know is composure grows with exposure to challenges. This is what we do. We're testing ourselves, right? There's a lot of value in these 5 things. If you start thinking about these 5 things, and by the way, go get the show notes. Don't just listen to me talk for a few minutes on your drive to work. Go get those show notes. Answer the questions. Start using the application activities. This is how we sharpen the axe. Bjorn Borg didn't become a legend by playing his opponents. This guy became a legend by mastering himself, not understanding his opponent. Of course, he probably watched some tape and whatnot, but he had to master himself. He had to master his mind. Leaders who learn to play the ball, not the person, they stand out in the exact same way that Bjorn Borg did. So here's my challenge to you this week. Notice the moments that test your composure. You're probably going to see some repetition in these. This is your kryptonite, if you will. When the pressure rises, when someone tries to push those buttons of yours, don't play the person. Play the ball. Stay focused. Stay ready. And let your composure become your leadership advantage. Thanks for listening today. Hey, listen, if this episode added value to you, share it with a leader that's in your circle. Maybe they might need this reminder to keep cool under pressure. And as always, keep leading well and keep turning that pressure into potential.
The Champion Forum Podcast with Jeff Hancher. Lead, inspire, win.